Hello, I thought I'd just do a quick video. I wasn't going to do one this week as we have guests and this is the guest's bedroom, but hell, I've got a bit of time. Right, so what I wanted to talk about today is the need to be honest with yourself. I'm saying that when I say you be honest with yourself, I'm talking about myself as well. You know, sometimes you can see in front of you things that are going to happen in terms of changes in life, in the world, whatever. And it's very, very, very easy to stick your head in the sand and simply ignore it. I've done it in the past, but I know I need to be a bit more honest to myself and to take action. I speak often from the perspective of someone in midlife, over 40, blah, 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 blah. But it's that fact that we all know that the world is changing very fast around us. You know, if you think about structural trends, AI, robotics, automation are going to change the world of work very quickly. You know, that's the way things are going. We all know the older we get, generally the less employable we are. Let's be honest. In our current, if you are over 40, 45, 50, call it what you will, you know that at some point you will be easily replaceable. And I say easily in terms of skill set, by someone cheaper, smarter, and basically more energetic than you. And that's a reality. So we all have to fess up to that, or be honest on that fact and prepare. Now, how do you prepare? I kind of have taken this three legs of a stool approach, which I need to build out more. So one leg of the stool is finance, personal finance. Make sure you have enough money squirreled away to get you through any difficult times in your career. In the past, I guess I had a period when I wasn't working for a few years. I had saved money, burnt through that, but I had started to put money aside. So I had a pile of cash. Second leg of the stool is, again, working on your current job, you know, to be as relevant in your role as you possibly can. That means networking within your organization, being as skilled as possible, negotiating for salaries if that is viable, etc., etc. So make sure you actually have your job that you have right now. Don't get me wrong, things can change. Manager can change, industry can change, your company could change. So that doesn't mean, so even if you are doing the best you can, it doesn't mean that you will actually be relevant for your organization. That's the way the world works. And the third leg of the stool is to upskill yourself in a way that supports you outside of your organization. So I work in the financial field. I know that if we have a massive downturn in the market environment, my finances will be challenged because I have a lot of my finance is in the stock market. My job environment could be challenged because banks, etc., are very heavily geared towards the economy and what goes on around tariffs, etc. So I would be under pressure potentially there. But the third leg could be about having skills that are counter-cyclical. And that means having skills that don't necessarily work or are more relevant away from where you are now. And what I mean by that is, I trained as a career coach. I also trained as a resume writer. Now, the resume writing dynamic will be challenged a lot by the AI world. I know that, but still, I can still combine those skills to create a more holistic career coaching setup so that if I lose my job because of what's going on in the economic environment, then I can use career coaching, because I won't be the only person in that situation who will be looking for a new job. So I'm developing skills that should benefit despite what's going on. Now, of course, if a lot of people lose jobs, then their financial situations could be under pressure, so they wouldn't necessarily all be paying for the services. But if they are trying to get back into the world of banking, then they are competing against so many other people. They perhaps would like to have the coaching opportunity, and they could also seek coaching if they wanted to transition to another career. Or I could look to develop different products and services that don't necessarily cost as much, or rely on affiliate marketing, or rely on advertising if I'm using a website. So you know what I mean. So I'm looking at developing these three stalls. So again, going back to what I was originally saying, you've got to be ready for how the world will evolve, because the world is evolving in front of our faces. Whether you voted for a certain different political party or not, regardless, volatility is back, and that will shape how our job markets, our economies will evolve. If there's a recession, and at some point there will be a recession, but if there is a recession in the near term, you've got to know what your plan B is if your job is under pressure. That's the reality of this. So think about those three stalls, and these three stalls are elements I am working on most to make sure I'm relevant. I need to optimize them more because they're not as strong as they could be, but rest assured I will be continuing to build them in order to make sure that I'm not as vulnerable as a number of other people I know. I know a lot of people who have lost their jobs in the last X amount of months, call it in the last year. Either they've lost it in the last year or found out that they've been out of work. Now, if you have one stall like the money saved, then that can obviously help tide you over. But then what? You know, are you still looking at those same old jobs and hoping to get back in? Maybe you will get back in, maybe you won't. Or if you have these skills that are external to your role, are you able to monetize that enough to make up for any shortfall if you don't have savings? Or are you continuing to connect with people in your industry, in your field, upskill yourself in your same field, and is that working for you to get a job? Different people have been experiencing different pressures, is what I'm trying to say. So for me, it's about trying to make sure that all three of those legs, all three of those balls are properly optimized in a way that I feel at least fairly future-proof. Nothing's perfect, nothing is foolproof, and certain things will continue to push back and prevent it from being properly being fully resilient. But it's better to have a plan than no plan at all. Even if it is a weak plan, even if it is a one that isn't fully formed, it's better to have something than nothing at all. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting to do a video today, but had some time speaking to some friends and thought, yeah, things are going to be different in the next year or two. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Please like and subscribe. And if I get a chance, I'll do another video next week. If not, very soon after. Bye for now.